Hi guys, I'm Jen. Welcome to Be Set Free. So I wanted to make a video today and just document something I learned today. And I'm hoping that it helps you. I'm sure maybe in the trauma world, the topic I'm going to talk about is talked about a lot. And that is healing childhood trauma. We just talk about it constantly, don't we? I just get even so sick of just hearing the words healing childhood trauma. Blah! Can we just be done with it already, right? But it's so real. And those, as we know, those childhood wounds, those bonds that were not made, the mirroring of our emotions to our parents, their emotions to us, it didn't happen in the right way. The communication, the connection, it didn't happen in the right way, and we weren't fully emotionally formed properly. Lots of us didn't even have a chance. We've been stumbling and fumbling around through this life with this weird feeling inside, like something is wrong with us. Or the opposite end of it, something's wrong with everybody else, but not me, but my life sucks, right? And we just get to a point, where we realize, wow, my life has just been a series of relationships that have been very, very difficult. So I wanted to talk to you today about what I learned. So I've always had this feeling inside, as long as I can remember, of something's wrong. Like I can't find my peace. Can you relate to that? Like, get in relationship and relationship feels great and takes it away for a little bit, but then it comes back. And, in my younger years, I would project it onto the other person and think that they're making me feel like crap. They're stressing me out. Something's wrong with them. If they would just do this and if they would just do that, then I would feel better. They're not meeting my needs. They're not a good fit for me. And while all of that is actually true because of the partners I've chosen because of my childhood wounds, I'm still left with myself, right? We're still left with ourselves. So then we get out of the relationship and we mourn harder than normal people. Normal, what is that? But other people who maybe don't have such a big childhood wound. We mourn because we've been in an abusive relationship. We mourn because we've completely abandoned ourselves in that relationship, and now we're lost, right? And so the feeling inside gets bigger. What is this feeling? This feeling is a feeling of something's wrong. I don't feel okay with myself. Something's wrong with me. I can't, the feeling of not being able to find your peace, the feeling of thoughts racing, always trying to figuring out what's wrong with me, feeling lonely, and not even maybe that you're lonely for another relationship, although in part of my healing, I can say I did feel that way. I was lonely for another relationship and wanted one right away, or wanted to go out and start talking to people of the opposite sex right away. But I'm not like that anymore. Now I'm just kind of like, what is this feeling inside? When I'm in relationship, it's intensified. When I'm out of relationship, I can clearly see there's nobody here to blame that feeling on. And here it is still. And I was talking to my dad today and I was explaining to him how I was feeling. And he said, these feelings I just described to you. And he said, honey, I'm going to interrupt you right now and I'm going to do the whole guy thing and give you a solution, like a fix it. I hope it's okay. I was like, go, Dad, it's fine. And he said, it sounds like you have PTSD. And I was like, Dad, I totally forgot about PTSD. Yeah, that's right. And then it reminded me of CPTSD, which is childhood PTSD. And then he said, it's just reminding me of your childhood, when how you must have felt, when these different situations happened with your mom. And then he started recalling situations that he remembered from when I was very, very little, like 3 years old, 4 years old, 5 years old, he says. I think 3 years old. And that feeling, as he's saying the stories to me that happened to me, that feeling of me being a little girl experiencing that, I remembered it, and it was the exact same feeling I live with every single day inside my body. And I was like, Dad, you're right. Oh my gosh, this feeling I'm having inside is actually how unsettled I felt as a child, just naturally because of all this trauma and situation I was dealing with regarding with my mom. And the feeling I was remembering, at times I can feel, and tell me if you can relate, I can feel super insecure, like I just need my partner, or I need somebody with me. But generally it comes out in relationship where I just need my partner to tell me, hey, I'm here with you. Hey, you're good. Hey, I love you. You're great. Everything's fine. And give me a hug. And then I'd feel so much better, right? I can't, sometimes that just seems to be heightened for me, especially in relationship. And that's the abandonment trauma. And I was like, Dad, I feel like when I get super worked up, that's the feeling I felt when I was a kid and things were super bad. And I was freaking out and I was trying to protect myself and figuring out how to get to safety. And he was just, as he's saying all these different stories to me that he can remember, he was talking to me, remembering me as a little girl and saying, wow, honey, you must have really, it would be understandable for you to feel that way when you're a little girl, and I don't know, it took a lot of the pain out of my body when he connected these dots for me. Like, I think if we go back in our childhood and remember some scary situations or some abandonment where we were abandoned by our caregiver, they were supposed to be taking care of us and they weren't. Maybe they rejected us. Maybe they left us. Maybe they ignored us when we were really in need of care, emotionally, physically. And remember what that felt like, how we felt in that moment. Go back and remember. And then if you're struggling right now, see if it's the same kind of undertone that you live with day in and day out, day in and day out. And I also learned today that women in premenopause and in menopause, some trauma feelings, or this feeling that I'm describing where you just are not happy, you don't feel right, you feel stressed all the time, you feel very emotional, in the emotional pit, just constantly, daily, day in and day out, and you cannot get out of it, and you're trying and you just can't. That's a trauma response from our childhood coming back. And for some reason it comes back at this age where we may have had a lot of growth through, like I used to feel a black hole pit inside of me. If I went inside my emotions, I felt like I wouldn't be able to get out of them, right? I felt like if I feel these emotions, they're just going to swallow me up, and I am falling literally through a black hole pit, and I'm going to die. And I learned how to process my emotions, and I have a video about that. And that is exactly what I did to get out of that black hole pit feeling and be able to start feeling and naming my emotions. Well, that helped a lot. I learned all that, and I was relatively happy in life. I didn't live with a constant feeling of trauma. I could be centered and peaceful And I still had an edge of a feeling of, gosh, I really want to be in a relationship. Gosh, I'd really like to meet a great guy. But I really do feel like that we are human. We're meant to be in a relationship, and some of us have turned it off and don't want to, but there's a whole bunch of people who do. And so I would feel that, But now that I'm 49, I'll be 50 in April. It's January right now. And all of a sudden, I don't know if it was triggered by being in a relationship or it's my age or both. Because there's some pain you cannot process outside of relationship. You have to be in relationship to process to get some of this healing done. That's where some of it happens. Not all of it, but some of it is there. It's there waiting for you. I don't know. I think it's linked to the premenopause and the menopause age. And now I was reading about that today, and now this trauma is back. And when my dad connected that, the PTSD from the childhood, the feelings, and I remembered the feelings that I was feeling back then and relating it to this desperation and this horrible feeling I'm living day in and day out, and I can't get rid of it. It took it away for the afternoon. It really did. And one of my daughters went, and it just happened to be today where she was in her therapy sessions that led up to today. Today is the day now where they were starting EMDR so she could process some of her trauma from her childhood that happened in the not so far past. And it just all linked together. And I hope what I'm saying in this video just touches you somehow, some way, that maybe you can connect the dots for yourself and get some relief. I have to say it wasn't a one and done, I'm healed, praise the Lord, hallelujah. But it's a good start. And like I said, I did get relief. So the mind has been ruminating this afternoon, easily going to just negative stories, bad self-worth, ruminating on not making up stories. I guess making up stories a little bit, but it all has to do with beating myself up. And so it hasn't healed any of that. But the feeling I feel in my body, and I believe that you know what that feels like if you're connecting with trauma. In your emotions, you can feel it in your body. I feel it in the middle of my body, like my chest, usually right here, solar plexus area, just a heaviness, and that. I got some relief today. So anyways, if you have anything to say about that, please feel free to reach out in the comments. If you'd like to talk to me, I am a certified life coach. I'm going through my own stuff too, so I'd be happy to talk to you. I have firsthand experience with this stuff. You can reach out to me at besetfreefromabuse@gmail.com. And yeah, I hope this helps somebody. And I hope when I'm feeling triggered again or start to go back into that feeling, I watch my own video and remember. But anyways, I'll talk to you soon, guys. Bye.